Hello, Mr. Ranga. My name is Andika Putra Abriansyah, and I will be doing the third project of active listening skill. Part 1. Make a note. Characters. The characters of the audio are the lecturer and the students. The audio doesn't mention any name for the characters. A plot. The plot of the audio is a lecturer explaining to some student how the USA Today changed the newspaper industry. And then the setting. I think the setting of the audio is in the middle of a class. And the mood of the audio is calm. It's just a lecturer explaining something, and then some students ask a question to the lecturer, which the lecturer easily answers. And then there's theme. The theme of the audio is education. A lecturer is explaining how the USA Today changed the newspaper industry. And then there's conflict. There's no conflict in the audio. It's just a lecturer explaining. So I will be take a topic. The topic of the audio are the many things that USA Today has changed in the newspaper industry, like the way papers in newspapers look, the use of color for the picture in newspaper, and interesting or unique graphics to interest readers. Other than that, USA Today also tries to make newspapers that appeal to younger audience. They focus on entertaining rather than informing. This change of structure in their newspapers proved to be a success, and it made the other newspapers follow USA Today's structure. Part 2. Make the note. This is the same as the part 1. The characters of the audio are Professor Morgan and his students, and their plot. The plot of the audio is a professor is explaining to his student the difference between a fad and a trend. Then there's setting. The setting of the audio is in the middle of a class. Then there's a mood. The mood of the audio is calm with a little bit of humor. Professor Morgan explained the topic while also giving questions to his students. The students in turn responded to the professor's question with a relaxed tone with a little bit of joking around. The theme of the audio is education. Is a professor teaching a student about the difference between a fad and a trend. And there's no conflict in the audio, so I will be taking the topic. The topic of the audio is a difference between a fad and a trend. The audio also explained the meaning of a fad and a trend. A fad is something that seems to appear suddenly. It quickly becomes popular, but then it can swiftly disappear. While a trend is something that is almost the same as a fad, but it doesn't disappear. A trend can stay relevant. A fad has a definite beginning and end, while a trend can prove to be difficult to pinpoint on how it begins and ends. Other than that, a trend will be utilized by a big company or business to get profit, while a fad does not. Only a small company may take a fad to gain profit. The last important topic that the audio mentioned is that a fad has the possibility to become a trend. And then we begin to part 3. Part 3. Number 1. Mention all characters and the characteristic of each in details information. Jack. Jack is the protagonist of the story, a boy with a bold temper who has a resolve to destroy the giants. He is brave, smart, and has a good humanity. He dares to fight something that is bigger than him. He uses cunning strategies in fighting the giants, and he helps the giants hostage, which consists of harmless ladies and weakened knight to escape. The first giant on Saint Michael's Mount is a huge giant with a fierce and savage look. He is the first victim of Jack's journey in destroying giants. And the third is Blunderbore, the second victim of Jack's journey in destroying giants. A giant that swore to take revenge on Jack. He kept an enchanted castle in the midst of a lonely wood. The fourth is a Welsh giant. This one is rather cunning, as he has plans to kill Jack by deceiving him. Despite that, he is quite dumb, as he got tricked by Jack, and his death is at the hands of himself. The fifth is the handsome knight and his lady. Jack saved them from being no-name giants hostage, and they are thankful to Jack for saving them. The sixth is an old man. Jack meets him at the foot of a high mountain in a lonely house. This old man tells Jack of the giants Galligantus and a vile magician. He also tells of the condition of a duke's daughter that Jack must save. And then the next is a duke's daughter. She was kidnapped by Galligantus and kept in an enchanted castle. And then there is Galligantus and a vile magician, the last antagonist of the story. And the last character is the king. He rewards Jack for all the deeds he has done. Number 2. What is the conflict between the main character and the antagonist? The main character, Jack, has a resolve to destroy the giants because the giants have terrorized the people of the kingdom and taken many animals as their food for many years. Jack faces a lot of problems in defeating many giants. Number 3. How does the main character solve the problem? Jack bravely kills the giants with cunning strategies and uses many tools. The strategies he utilized are something that like tricking the giant with words and striking them when they are vulnerable. The tools he uses are simple things like a pickaxe and a shovel, and even magical stuff like shoes of swiftness and an invisible coat. Number 4. Explain who is the Blunderbore. A giant swore to take revenge on Jack. He kept an enchanted castle in the midst of a lonely wood. He also the second victim of Jack's journey in destroying giants. And then this is the last one. Number 5. Retell the story based on the audio using your own word. There was a boy named Jack who had a bold temper and a will to destroy giants. He lived in Cornwall under the reigns of the famous King Arthur. With only a horn, a shovel, a pickaxe, armor, and a dark lantern, Jack embarked on his journey to destroy the giants. Jack's first victim was the giant that fell into Jack's trap. Jack dug a deep pit and the giant fell into it. With his pickaxe, Jack killed the giant by striking it in the head. Hearing the death of the first giant, a giant named Blunderbore vowed to kill Jack. This giant kept an enchanted castle, and he took Jack to his castle while Jack was sleeping. Despite having the advantage, Blunderbore failed to kill Jack, and with agility and quick thinking, Jack killed Blunderbore by choking him with a rope and stabbing his heart. With Blunderbore's death, Jack released all of Blunderbore's hostage, which are all women, and he left the castle to go to Wales, continuing his journey. In Wales, Jack met a Welsh giant who offered him a place to stay, which Jack accepted. Turns out this Welsh giant had a plan to kill Jack by attacking him while Jack was sleeping. Fortunately, Jack already knew the Welsh giant's intention. In the night, the Welsh giant hit the sleeping Jack many times, not knowing that under the rug, Jack wasn't sleeping there. The next morning, Jack called the Welsh giant. He was surprised to see that Jack was still alive, and with cunning words, Jack tricked the Welsh giant and made the Welsh giant to cut himself, killing him. After his success in destroying the giants, Jack decided to keep his momentum and went to find another giant to kill. This time, Jack was prepared. He brought many tools, one of them being a magical item, an invisible cloak that would prove to be useful. Jack's next victim was a no-named giant who was kidnapping a handsome knight and the knight's wife. Jack killed the giant by slicing the giant's leg and then plunked his sword into the giant's neck. The handsome knight and his wife were glad that Jack helped them. They invited Jack to their house in order to reward Jack, but Jack declined. He wanted to find another giant to kill. The handsome knight gave Jack a direction and Jack went along, leaving the handsome knight and his wife. Arriving at the foot of a mountain, Jack met an old man who offered him to stay and rest in his house. In the old man's house, the old man told Jack of a giant named Galligantus who has an enchanted castle. The castle was powered by a vile magician, and inside the castle lies the duke's daughter who was kidnapped by them. Jack believed the old man's information and vowed to kill Galligantus and the vile magician and save the duke's daughter. The next day, Jack sneaked into the enchanted castle using the invisible cloak and found a golden trumpet that will take away all of Galligantus' power. Jack blew the trumpet, which made the castle tremble. The vile magician got carried away by a whirlwind, while a powerless Galligantus got killed by Jack. The enchanted castle disappeared, and the duke's daughter was saved by Jack. Jack took the duke's daughter with him and sent her to the king. The king was pleased with Jack's deed and rewarded Jack with wealth and the right to marry the duke's daughter.